committee, and my specific role is to get people to give to the annual fund. So that's why I'm here today, to get you guys to give. Actually, I needed something. All right, so Rotary Foundation. The reason why I do this and why our foundation is, why our district foundation committee is so intent on getting the message out, is that our district, which is one of the wealthiest in the world, net worth-wise, income-wise, is one of the poorest givers to the foundation in the Rotary world. We're the bottom 3% or something like that. We just don't give to the foundation. Now, there's a lot of reasons. One reason I give, and Verge, Carolyn, don't be offended by this, please, but the one thing I always say is that we don't ask anybody to show their bank books, their checking accounts when we ask them to join Rotary. We accept you if we feel your heart is in the right place and you're gonna give back. You don't have to write big checks. Around the world, you don't get into a Rotary club if you don't write a big check, $5,000, $10,000 usually at a minimum, and there's usually a waiting list. They only take the elite. So we, and this is the United States, take anybody. But so I said, don't be offended by that. But our district in particular, just for some reason, we haven't gotten the word out of the importance of giving to the foundation, why you give to the foundation. One of the reasons, one of the excuses that's always given, and I was on the other end of this for many years, is Gift of Life. That Gift of Life being such an important program in our district, that a lot of money internationally goes to Gift of Life. And plus all the other local things that we do that you see every day. But what I do talk about is how we can benefit as a club from the foundation. I'm going to get into the specific numbers in a minute, but I mentioned there are 50 Rotary clubs in our district. Somebody take a guess who got more money from the district than any other Rotary club in our district?
We did.
We did, by far, by far.
You gave the most?
Got the most. We didn't give the most by any stretch of the imagination, but we got the most. There's two ways of clubs benefiting from the foundation: district grants and global grants. I'm going to go into them in a minute. We got $1,500 district grant, and we got $10,000 towards our global grant. That's $11,500. The district gave out a total, I don't have the exact numbers, but it was $17,000 on district grants, and it was somewhere around $30,000 on global grants. So maybe $50,000, and we got over 11,000 of that. That's out of 50 Rotary clubs. So, ergo, the reason to give. Okay, so what happens with the money? All right, these are my famous buckets. Okay, so I tell you, I've seen bills worse than this passed at a telewindow. I mean, it says play money on it, but I've seen bills worse than this passed.
Yeah.
So this is a little scary to me. Okay, so we as a district give money to the Rotary Foundation. Okay, Rotary International. So I'm going to hold back a few dollars. So we give, I'm going to call this $100,000. We give $100,000 to foundation. We did a nice thing. Just a background on the foundation, it was started 100 years ago. As a matter of fact, this past Rotary convention was the celebration of the 100th anniversary of the foundation. It started with $26.50. Does anybody want to guess how much is in the foundation now?
$1 billion?
Over $1 billion. Wow. It's considered, and this is not me being a shill, but it's the highest rated foundation you can be. It's got whatever Michelin stars, you know, as far as charity. So it does good work. Now, why are you being asked to give money to something that already has $1 billion?
Because you want to live off the interest.
Well, we want to reap the benefit from it. Why does anybody do anything? Because you can benefit from it. Now, you benefit because you're part of Rotary International. The reason why we can call ourselves Rotary International and have banners like this with the wheel and all that is because we're part of this huge organization of clubs in 200 countries and 1,200,000 members. So this is the Rotary International Foundation. Ergo, you should give to your foundation. But other than that, 3 years after we give, half of the money comes back to us. You say, well, big deal, half of the money. What about the other half? Well, the other half is being used to run the foundation and for many other things, which I'm going to get into. So half of the money comes back to us. What we do is we take about a third of it and we put it into a bucket called district grants. And we take about 2/3 of it and we put it into a bucket called global grants. Okay, let's start with global grants. What did we just accomplish, our club, internationally? We just built a well in Nigeria, and that well is going to provide clean water to thousands of villagers. It's going to ultimately save hundreds of thousands of lives. Father Felix came to us, to Tom and Brian Murray, Lee Parker, came to us, and Andy, and said, guys, I need help. This is what Rotary does. We help. We help across borders, across oceans. I need help. We have villagers that can't get clean water. Can you help us? We put our heads together. Brian Murray, who runs a foundation, who is involved in a foundation from Midland Park, got involved as well. We said, well, we have $2,000 that we can help with. How much do you need? $35,000. Hey, $2,000, $35,000. That's gonna be rough. But we're part of this huge organization that helps with things like this. Maybe we can get you help. So here's our $2,000. Hey Brian, can you help us? I gotta steal some money from here. I'm sorry. Forgot about Brian. Brian said, you know something? I can get you $8,000 from the foundation. Now we're cooking. Now we have 10,000. Okay, 10, 35. We're getting closer. So we go to our district, our Rotary district, which I'm on the committee, and we say, can you help us? Well, we have money put aside for global grants. Well, how much do you need? We need 10,000 from you. Why do you need 10? Take the 10. 10 and 10, how much do we have?
20.
We have $20,000. Well, the way Rotary International works, the way the grants work, remember the money we left behind here? They're going to take our 10,000 and they're going to give us 50 cents on the dollar. How much do we have now?
25.
Just want to make sure you're awake, Benita. They're going to take the district's 10,000 and they're going to match that dollar for dollar. 10 and 10. What do we have now?
20.
$35,000. How much did Father Felix need for the wells? Here's our $35,000. Okay? That's how the project got done. How much did we put up? 2. We put up 2,000, leveraged it to 35,000. Now, we had a great benefactor, Brian Murray's foundation, that helped, but I did the same thing, the Teaneck Rotary Club did the same thing, which I helped with a project in Sierra Leone. In that case, the Rotary Club put up 4, we got 13,000 from the district. 13 plus 13 is 26, 4 plus 2 is 6, $32,000. We built solar panels and provide education program for a boarding school in Sierra Leone. Matter of fact, we had a program here a couple years ago about that. $32,000, the Teaneck Rotary Club put up 4. So that's the leverage. That's what Rotary International, that's one of the reasons you give, and that's what we've already benefited. Okay, questions about that? Okay, the other thing is the district grants. District grants are easy. By the way,
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
How often can we go to the well? No pun intended.
once a year. I mean, it's as long as money's available. They are gonna, if there's several requests in, they're gonna look to see who's already, as long as our project is closed out, which we're in the process of doing. But they're gonna look to see who's already benefited and try to help other clubs first. But yeah, you can go once a year. Good question though. Go to the well, I like that. So, this, I don't wanna make it sound like this is easy. This took 2 years to get done. I'm not a grant writer by any stretch of the imagination. I started the process. Peter, Andy, Dave O'Brien pitched in between the 4 of us. We did it. It got rejected. Sorry, it's not good. It's like filing for your medical claims. First thing is always going to be no. And then, but they're very cooperative. If you do this, this, and this, we can probably get it done. We did this and this, and we got it done. People in Nigeria. The Rotary Club in Nigeria, and then they had a partner with another Rotary Club, They were phenomenal as far as getting us detailed information, but this is difficult. It took 2 years to get done, but we got it done. It's Sierra Leone, the same thing. It took us about 2 years, but you can get it done. District grants are easy. This is a piece of cake. Do you remember last year, we packed food at Dwight Englewood School in Englewood? And we said we would give $2,000. We asked the district for $2,000. There were too many requests for the money available, so they cut us back to $1,500. But we got $1,500 plus $2,000. $1,500. It's 25 cents. It's 25 cents for every package meal. So who's good at math? 1,500, 60,000, 6,000. 6,000 packages were put together because of the $1,500 we got from the district. This you can do every year. The deadline for this is one of the reasons why I'm talking now, and I got a few other clubs that I'm going to go into. The deadline for this is September 30th for this current Rotary year. So we have to come up with a project, and this is where it's great to have new members. So Verge, Carolyn, I know you're not a member yet, Keith when he's here, plus anybody else. What do you want to do? We can do the food again. We've done that. We've done that twice. It'd be nice if we come up with a different, some other program. But all we have to do is come up with something to do. Now, it's not going to pay for Midland Park Day or Eastern Christian, to pay for a booth. It's got to be. I'm not minimizing that. Those things are great, but it's got to be a project. It's got to be something hands-on, something we're going to be doing, like packing the food. Because part of, and when I tell you it's a simple process, it is. It's a one-page application. What do you need? Who's going to benefit from it? Does it meet one of the areas of need that Rotary provides, which it always does? And what are Rotarians' involvement? What are you guys going to be doing? If not, I'm writing a check to somebody. So come up with something. We should. The board is meeting next week. If somebody has any ideas, submit it to Cindy, and we can go from there. Because that, I believe, there's also about $14,000 available for the club, so it's first come, first serve. If they're saying September 30th deadline, if there's not enough requests by then, I'm sure there will be, then they'll extend it. But right now, that's the deadline. So come up with something. Come up with something. Anything you want to give. It's an easy get, for the money. Anywhere between $1,000 and $2,000 we can get. All right. So that's how we benefit from the money we get. What we ask of every Rotarian is to give $100 a year. Now, I know some of you are sitting there saying, Tom just talked about the beefsteak. God, I have to make sure I get $500 worth of people there. It's $100. I have to get a gift for $100. Now it's another $100. Well, that's the deal. That's what you signed up for. But this is not a requirement. This is not. I'll tell you what this is in a second. But we're not saying you have to give this. It's an ask. Some Rotary clubs, and I don't think it's a bad idea, actually puts it on your invoice, but it's always optional in parentheses. You don't have to pay it. But some clubs do take it. I wouldn't say we don't take it seriously, but do treat it more as a requirement. Some Rotary clubs match contributions. We can always talk about that on the board level. But you're asked to give $100 a year. The easiest way to do it is you go online and you go to rotaryinternational.org. You're going to look for a button that says Give, and you set up something where you give a certain amount every month. I take $10 out of from my credit card every month. I obviously don't feel it. I'm not going to minimize $10, but it's $10. But I don't feel it. I think, Cindy, you're doing it as well. I think we're the only two.
I've been doing it for years.
Oh, you are? Oh, I'm sorry. I saw a report. So that's the easiest way to do it. We'll send out letters and ask, but if everybody in this club gave $100, 30 some odd members, we'd be given more than most of the clubs in the district. What does Bergen Highlands do? If any program, matching or anything?
I don't know, we just ask people to sign up.
Yeah.
We got about half a club or more.
Yeah, I did this twice last year, very honest. They liked it so much the first time they asked me back. So, don't ask me why. But, and then Andy's going there with Father Felix in a couple of weeks. I said, I can't go back. They can't see me again. By the way, the issue with Father Felix, this is not a Rotary International issue, but now we're trying to raise $8,000 for a generator.
8 to 10.
Now it's going up.
It's in Africa.
It's always
after.
been 8 to 10,000.
Okay, all right.
Just wanna make sure we know that.
And
Okay.
it's solar powered, right?
You can't
You know, it's a
less than
generator.
8, it could be 9, it could be 9.
Okay, we're trying to raise money, so we're going to the different Rotary clubs and asking for their help. But that's outside of the foundation. We could have built that into the original foundation grant, but obviously we would have needed more money. There wasn't any more from the district, and we would have had to raise more, but we could have done that, so we got it matched, but now we're trying to raise it now. Okay, so what I have in my hot little hand here, this is a list of what everybody in this club has given, total, since you've been in Rotary, all right? What happens, the part I left out, is once you give $1,000, or if somebody gives $1,000 on your behalf, you become a Paul Harris Fellow. Paul Harris, founder of Rotary. You get a nice certificate, a nice pin. Once you give the next $1,000, you get a sapphire on the pin, and that keeps going. Eventually, you get a diamond. I think at 10,000 is the big thing. Nobody's there yet, but this is what everybody's given. I can individually, I can tell you, I'm not going to call it out, but I can tell you one-on-one what you have given. I'll have this with me every week. But some of you are very close to the next level. So if you've given, say, $1,900, which somebody in the club has, that means another 100, and you get Paul Harris +1, and you'll get the nice sapphire. You'll get another pin with the sapphire on it. You can give it on behalf of somebody else. When I became president of the Teaneck Rotary Club, I did one and surprised my wife at my installation because she's more Rotarian than I am with all the stuff that she does. So I gave her a Paul Harris. So she's a Paul Harris Fellow, and I got credit for, Paul Harris Plus. But the key here is that you can get the next level by giving more. What I would love to do, and I'm springing this on everybody now, but we can talk about it, is when we do our charter night, is present the Paul Harris to everybody that's done it. And because it's a tremendous recognition, you want to do that in front of friends and family. It really is. It's a great recognition to be, the people who here have done it know the feeling. The other thing, and again, this is more on a board level, our Rotary Club has points that we can use to give Paul Harris's to somebody, if we choose to, or portions of it. That's why I talked about the match. We have 4,500 points. You probably weren't aware of that, right?
Yeah, I'm aware of it.
Oh, I know, it took
Well on our way to that 60,000 level to qualify.
But we have 4,500 points, so we can give somebody a Paul Harris.
How many points you need, Paul?
1,000. So we can give somebody a Paul Harris. Now, that's great for us, for the recognition. It doesn't help this. This is not cash. So we want to give the cash. Again, $10 a month, $100 one time if you can. If you can do more, that's phenomenal, because not everybody's going to be able to do it. But that's the ask. Questions? Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, in regards to the points, I think it might be a great idea for people who've been supporting our clubs for a very long time, very generous. I mean, we could use that too.
Outside person, outside Rotary, you can. Yeah, you definitely can.
So, that's a great recognition.
It is.
Good work.
Yeah, that could be what it's used for. Yeah. Yep. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, could we please put it on the invoice as optional? That to me would be
We could
so
talk.
helpful.
We could talk about it the board level. What the Teaneck Rotary Club did, I proposed it, and we did it, is we matched. You gave $50, the club gave $50, but cash. It was in the
Just
budget.
makes it easy because it's a
But,
reminder.
but yeah, I think it's a good idea, but let's see if it might be. I know the invoices confuse people sometimes, but it might be more confusing.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
I want to
reemphasize that, you know, the money that Paul talked about, the global grants, the district grants, and the development at the district level, are, the available money is a function of how much we individually in the district give.
Right.
So if in 2017, 2018, let's say that of all the clubs, only $20,000 got donated to the Rotary Foundation. That means that 3 years from now, the district only has $10,000 to give out in grants. So 3 years, half comes back. If the district, if we were able to generate $100,000 this year in gifts to the foundation, in 3 years we have $50,000, to give out on district grants. So, the last couple of years have been difficult because a lot of clubs want to do projects, and there hasn't been any real money because over the years, the Rotarians in this district, as Paul said, have not been given. So our return from the foundation to these buckets has been pretty meager.
Yeah, the goal, just like our club's goal, the district's goal, again, is $100 per. We have close to 1,300 members in the district. $130,000, we'll probably give about 60 as a district, which again, is abysmal. There are clubs in the poorest reaches of emerging market countries that give many times that. But again, they only bring in the wealthy people to their clubs. But all we need to do is $100 per person, and we'd be where we should be. And then that's $65,000 to play with. It's a lot more than we do now. $60,000.
Yeah.
Anybody? Any questions? Okay. Thank you.
No.